So that's when Mom came walking in the room, and I slapped the jar on the peanut butter as fast as I could. So she didn't
Whoa.
Huh?
Hey, kids.
Oh, hey, kids.
Hey, it's the Maximum Effort Podcast.
Hi, boys and girls.
Hey, kids. Did you miss us?
I hope so.
Nah, they probably didn't.
Yeah. It's been a long time. I bet they would have. 7 whole days.
I know, right? 7 whole days.
A lot can happen in 7 days.
Yeah.
What happened over your 7 days?
Very little.
That's depressing.
It really is. It really, really is. Oh, man.
It's all right.
Yeah. As you guys know, I'm Dave.
I'm Adam.
Hey, Adam.
Hey, buddy.
You figured out your identity yet?
Yes, I'm going to stay Adam for the foreseeable future.
Come on, man.
Well,
I liked the fact that I got to ask you every week if you were still Adam.
Well, here's my only problem. I had a birthday last Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
And I dropped $40 for a new ID that says I'm Adam. I dropped $40 for new stickers for my car that are registered to Adam. So I kind of feel like for at least a little bit, I should stay that way.
Yeah, I guess. Fine.
Yeah.
I'll stop asking.
Sorry.
Just ruin a kid's fun, man. It's fun. So it's okay.
Well, I'm a silent killer.
It's true you are. Yeah. So, yeah. What did you do in your 7 days? I
almost completely renounced technology. As everyone knows, we announced last week that we were going to try to start videoing our little ventures here. Mm-hmm. Dave and I are in separate states, very far apart, so he records his audio, I record my audio, I send it to him. Mixmaster Funktastic over here slaps it together.
What?
And then you get a podcast.
Yeah.
Reverse with the audio. I'm recording my video right there.
I record my video. I send it over to the editor supreme, His Majesty. Yep. He goes into the technologies and makes it happen. Well, he used to.
He tried to make it happen.
Yeah, up until about a week ago.
Yeah, so here's what happened. Apparently my Mac Air just ran out of storage space, and I couldn't get the file out of Dropbox onto my hard drive. And I've had my Mac for about a year, but I'm still kind of new to it, and I just learned today that when you move things from the hard drive to the external hard drive, they don't delete from their original source like they do on a Windows computer. Mm-hmm. So I've had duplicate files on my laptop for a week. Yeah.
And,
it's depressing. So then I tried to record an Instagram story video for people to explain what was going on.
Yeah.
And after about 4 panels, it was just black.
Yeah. Yeah, he got through the first 3, and then from the 4th one on,
but it was weird. If you skipped through it, you could see the beginning of each video.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the hell happened with that.
Couldn't tell you.
Yeah. So then I waited 8 hours for a file to move from my Mac to my external hard drive, only to wake up in the morning and it say transfer failed.
And it probably stopped about 20 seconds after you walked out of the room.
I'm sure it did.
It probably did. Yeah.
So yeah, that was the beginning of my nightmare of a week. The end of my weekend, however, was great. Thursday on my birthday, wife bought me Legend of Zelda. What the hell's that game called? Breath of the Wild for the Nintendo Switch. Played that for a little bit since I couldn't do any video editing that day. We ate at BD's Mongolian Grill in Columbus and ended up watching.
Amazing.
Yeah, so good. It really wasn't good this time.
Really?
I was really kind of unimpressed.
They have a B squad cooking today or something?
Well, they had a new guy.
Oh, there's.
And then they had one other guy on the grill. Usually there's like 3 or 4 of them.
Minimum.
Yeah, so they kept burning the shit out of our food. So it was funny, I actually had a thing pop up on my Facebook, and it said, hey, you were recently at BD's Mongolian Grill in Dublin, Ohio. Write a review. So I gave it a 3-star, and I said, food was burnt every trip up. We usually don't have problems, but today wasn't any good at all.
Get rid of the new guy.
I should have added that. Well, the next morning, I woke up to a comment that says, from BD's Mongolian Grill, Dublin, Ohio location. Adam, we regret to hear your visit was less than satisfactory. please reach out to us at info@mongo blah 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 at your earliest convenience so we can try and turn your experience around. Thank you, and we hope to hear from you. So I sent them an email. Still haven't heard from them. So I'll keep you guys updated on how that goes.
Yeah, keep us posted on that one because I want to know.
Yeah, but then we went and watched Captain Marvel. Oh, so good. Mm-hmm. So good. I want to talk about it, but I know it's so new. I don't want to spoil it for anybody listening.
Yeah, just no spoilers.
Yeah, just go watch it.
He gave me a spoiler, and it was the best spoiler ever, and I'm forever in his debt for it now. So
yeah, it's awesome.
It really is.
It's great because it takes place in like mid-90. So it's all 90s references. They driving around in an Impala. Nick Fury has hair.
Yeah. They
do explain how he lost his eye. Gosh, what else? There's just so many Easter eggs to the Marvel Cinematic Universe because it all takes place in the past. So they can be like, hey, here's this guy who does this, or here's this thing that led to this. It was a very cool movie.
Before the snap.
Yeah, basically. So, then I spent the weekend playing some Magic, and then I woke up this morning and finished my notes for this week's episode.
And here we are.
So yeah, very productive week for me, which is completely different from the norm.
Yeah.
Usually I'm the one going, I didn't do shit this week.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, it is what it is.
You were way more productive than I was, apparently.
Well, you know.
Yeah. I just worked and went to school and
took a little drive.
Met with people. Yeah, I'm at an undisclosed location right now. I'm in parts unknown. Coming at you from parts unknown.
Hopefully not staying in parts unknown.
Probably not. I mean, I gotta get my dog out of Hawk at some point.
That's true, yeah.
Somebody's gotta feed the cat.
Probably gonna miss you.
Probably.
The dog, not the cat. I don't like cats.
There's a picture I have to send you of my dog.
Yeah?
Yeah. My wife, my illustrious wife, our executive producer, she has a young professional women's group through our church. And before I left for work, she had me give the dog to doggy trazodone. And I'm at work, and I get a text message with a picture of my dog. She is so high.
That's awesome.
Oh, my dog is so high. Like, I have to send you the picture.
Now, what is doggy trazodone? Is that just a low dose?
It's just basically trazodone.
Oh, okay.
You just put it in the peanut butter and go to town.
Gobbles it up.
I mean, I think she's hip to it at this point, so I got to figure out something else to put it into.
Makes sense.
So, but yeah, I'll text you the picture because
very cool. You might have to share that with our listeners.
Yeah, I'll put it up on the Instagram. Why not?
Yeah,
but I'll send it to you first because it's gold.
Priorities.
It's comedy gold. Yeah, and yeah, so there was that. And then you and I found out, just because we're going to bring the room down this week because I'm recording on vacation and you're not. You'll recall in episode 5, we covered a little TV show called Airwolf. And we talked about the lead character, One String Fellow Hawk, played by Jan Michael Vincent, and we just found out that he's dead. R.I.P.
Yeah, very unexpectedly.
R.I.P. JMV, Right? So...
flew his last mission.
He did. He went way beyond the 80,000 feet mark.
Yeah.
So...
What would we say it was? Congestive heart failure?
I believe that's what... For some reason, somebody had I don't remember how, but it looked like an autopsy report or something. And it said congestive heart failure in the cause of death, so...
Yeah. He wasn't very old either.
No, I mean, he wasn't a spring chicken, but I mean, he wasn't Abe Vigoda.
No, you know.
So, you know.
Nice name drop, by the way.
Thank you.
Very few people know who the hell you're talking about.
Nobody listening to the shows is going to know who that is.
Oh, poor Abe.
Oh, poor Abe. Hey, he hung in there, though.
He did. He had a good run.
He hung in there.
Yeah.
Hey, granted, the last 6 or 7 movies, it just looked like a wax statue of a dead guy, but...
Basically.
Poor guy.
That's awful.
Yeah. Like, and it's sad because the last movie I think I remember him in was Look Who's Talking.
Mm-hmm.
He was the dad.
Mm-hmm.
What? It's so weird. It's my dad. What?
Oh, yeah. Oh, wow.
Where?
I haven't seen the movie in so long.
Boo.
It's good stuff. Your Travolta's spot on.
Thank you.
It's very good.
Thank you. Okay, I just sent you.
I'll have to look at that afterwards, or we'll spend 10 minutes talking about that. All right, I'm going to look at it real quick.
You got to.
Oh, my God. She's so baked.
I told you, man.
Dude, she is, like, lit.
Oh, she's stoned out of her mind.
I want to turn it into a meme. Dude, that is awesome. Oh my God. I love it. Poor Yoda.
Yeah. Poor Yoda.
Well, one of the things we like to do in every episode is definitely mention all the people who showed us some love this week.
Definitely.
I gotta jump back in the Wayback Machine to 3 weeks ago. Actually, completely missed a review on Facebook. Gentleman by the names of James Pondscum.
Why not?
Yeah, I know, right? He prefers to remain anonymous, apparently. He's one of our buddies from the Butt Chuggers Anonymous group from Brohio.
What up?
He liked our Facebook page, and he said, I've listened to all 5 episodes, so this was back around Airwolf. I've listened to all 5 episodes, and the podcast is off to a great start with great host, and he gave us 2 metal signs up.
Yes.
So, thanks, James. I appreciate that, buddy.
Thanks, brother.
I'm going to send him a message, get him a sticker for that.
Yeah, we need to.
Yeah.
We need to.
And then I got an email on my birthday from our good buddy that had sent us a couple of emails at the very beginning of the show.
Yeah.
I was excited about that.
Like by episode 2, he had like emailed us twice.
Yeah. So thanks, John, for the happy birthday wishes. I appreciate the email, buddy. And then we also got an iTunes review, which we love those.
Yes, we do. We really do.
Username was Rambo1128, which I knew right away is my brother, Ryan.
You paid him.
This one I did not pay him.
Ooh, independent.
I know, right?
Wow.
And the title of it is Would You Look at That?
Oh, would you look at that?
Would you just look at that? When something looks like that, I just stand there and say, would you look at it? But Ryan said, amazing podcast with plenty of amazing topics and facts to back them up. Great guys doing a great job. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, and then we did get the Patreon.
We got them Patreon love too.
We got the Patreon love.
Yeah, we got a level 1 from a Rachel Johnston. Thank you, Rachel.
Thank you, Rachel.
Appreciate the love on there as well.
I always liked Rachel more than Monica.
Oh, of course.
I mean, duh.
It was the hair.
That's what it was.
The face, the body.
Yeah.
The personality. Pretty much all of it, really.
More or less, yeah.
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 What is she, like 58 and she still looks good?
Something to that effect.
Yeah.
It's the money that makes her look pretty.
I mean, that's not hurting at all. God, now we got to add Friends to the list of episodes.
I thought we did, but...
It probably is on there.
Yeah, it probably is. So, yeah, speaking of topics, what are we doing this week? I kind of dropped a little hint in the Instagrams.
You did, and then I dropped, I don't know if you saw it,
You dropped the most unsubtle hint.
I thought it was very cryptic.
It was very good.
Yeah, I showed it to my kids and they just looked at it like,
Huh?
"You're doing Ninja Turtles this week," and I'm like, "How'd you figure that out already?" They're quick.
We learn early on to associate colors.
Yeah, very good. So yeah, we before we started recording, we talked about this, and this is actually, for what you've seen from the show notes, the title. This is going to be part 1 of 2 of a Ninja Turtle episode, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Got going in the research, and I don't know if I just dug a little too deep down the rabbit hole, or if there's just that much info to be had. But the info I have today that we're going to go over is just about the origins of the Turtles and the comic book. I wanted to dive into the cartoon and the toys. There was not enough time in one episode. We like to keep these about an hour.
And actually, we'll probably have to 45-minute this thing today.
Right, exactly.
Because we're in a different time zone now, so we're up way past our bedtime now.
Yeah.
Well, and you're just up on principle.
Yeah, I don't sleep, so it's okay.
No, you don't.
So yeah, this is going to be part 1. So we're going to talk about the origin and the comic book itself, and then next week we'll go into the toys and the cartoon, because there are 2 completely different sets of Ninja Turtles here. Yeah,
there's the Frank Miller version that Eastman did, which just completely rocks.
Yeah,
and then there's the for those of you who grew up like us, that OG cartoon with
had the world's most fearsome fighting teens in it.
They blew all their budget on the intro, man.
Oh yeah,
because that was a sweet intro.
Yeah, it was.
It really was.
Very well done.
But anyway,
so we're gonna jump into the world of the Ninja Turtles here.
Yeah. Where's the Wayback Machine going?
Well, Mr. Peabody, the Wayback Machine is gonna first drop us off on May 30th, January 27th, 1954, in North Adams, Massachusetts. This is where one Peter Laird was born. Peter Laird is one half of the creators of the Ninja Turtles. Kevin Eastman would be part 2. For the foreseeable conversation, I'm going to refer to them as Laird and Eastman.
Gotcha.
So everyone knows who I'm talking about.
Just in case.
Yeah. So Peter Laird was born in 1954 in North Adams, Massachusetts. There's really not a lot of history online about him. I looked at a couple of different websites, and I can't really find a whole lot. At some point, he moves to Northampton, Maine. Eastman was born May 30th, 1962, in Portland, Maine. He grows up. He always wanted to be an artist. He likes to draw. But he's a realist, and he knows that being an artist does not pay the bills.
Exactly.
Yeah, so after high school, he ends up being a waiter, working at a restaurant. And he's trying to find a publisher for some comic that he's working on. He ends up meeting a waitress, and they move to Northampton, Massachusetts. And there's where the synergy is coming in.
Question on the floor.
Hit me.
Is it in Massachusetts or is it in Maine? Because you've mentioned both.
You know what? I screwed my notes up. Northampton, Massachusetts. Sorry.
You're fired.
I know. Eastman was born in Maine. They
both
both meet in Massachusetts, and I wrote the wrong state. That's my bad.
It's fine. It's fine. We're fine.
Okay. Everyone's fine.
Yeah.
So these two end up crossing paths when Eastman was looking for an underground newspaper to publish some of his comics, and they started a professional relationship. So these guys hang out. They work together a lot. One November night in 1983, they're hanging out, watching some shitty B movies on cable, drinking Natty Lights or whatever you drank in 1983.
PBR, baby.
There it is. And Eastman decides to draw a bipedal turtle with a face mask and a pair of nunchucks strapped to his arms with a rope. And I'm sure most people might have seen this if you're a fan of the Turtles. It's very rough sketch.
And it legitimately looks like a turtle.
Yeah. Yeah. Straight up bipedal turtle.
Just standing on the hind legs.
Yep. They have a good laugh over, and he writes Ninja Turtle across the top of it. Haha, it's funny. Not to be one up, Laird sketches a more refined version of said turtle. So now there's a cockfight between the two of them, basically, and Eastman's like, well, I'm going to 4-up you, and he draws 4 turtles. He gives
Size
each one of
queen.
them. I know. He gives each one of them a unique weapon, and he adds Teenage Mutant to the title. And that's the birth of the Ninja Turtles.
And there you go.
Over the course of a couple of weeks, they're trying to decide on names. They were ninjas. They had samurai weapons, so they tried Japanese names. None of it really fit well with what they were trying to go with.
Just couldn't get the Hattori Hanzo angle.
Yeah, you can't go with any of that stuff. Yusaki Yojimbo is great for a side character, but not a main character. Just saying. So they ended up using Renaissance artists. They said it was just edgy enough that it might actually work for the story. Fun little fact, that original pic that he drew of the 4 turtles, in May of 2012, it sold at an auction for $71,000.
Yep.
So that was some money there.
A little bit.
So we've got a turtle roll call here. We've got, and everyone knows, we've got Leonardo, Michelangelo, Donatello, and Raphael. All the good ones end in O.
Well, yeah.
And then we've got Splinter. They were the 5 main characters in the original story.
Right.
Now, they develop a little bit of a backstory to these heroes. They start feeling like they're onto something here, and they spend a little over a year refining this brainchild that they got going on. March of 1984, they officially applied for and trademarked Mirage Studios. It was aptly named because there was no real studio.
There it is.
Just a table in Laird's living room where they worked. So they decided they've got enough of a backstory here, so they put a storyboard together. They end up with one 44-page comic. They did a one-shot. All black and white, no color of any kind.
Yep.
So we didn't have purple, we didn't have orange, red, and blue. We just had 4 black and white turtles. At that time, their weapons were just what identified each one of them. Excuse me. So they need to publish this, but, they're starving artists, so that's easier said than done at this point. So Eastman goes ahead and files his 1040 easy. He tosses his $500 tax return into the pot. Laird empties his savings account and the $200 that he had, and they ended up borrowing $1,300 from Easton's creepy uncle. And they ended up printing 3,000 copies.
You don't want to know what they did for that $1,300.
It's probably something in a van down by the river.
Panel van.
Yeah, exactly.
Panel van.
Heard an ice cream truck.
Right.
So they printed 3,000 copies of that first issue at the time. So after the printers were paid up in full, they had just enough money left to run an ad in 2 places. They ran it in the Comic Buyer's Guide magazine, issue 545, which was a publication for the comic industry. And they ran an ad in their own 1984 comic, Gobbledygook.
Interesting.
Yeah, I found that little tidbit online while digging around. So that one ad was able to generate enough buzz in the industry, and the distributors started phoning in orders. They sold all 3,000 copies in just a few weeks. They used the return to print another 6,000 issues, and they were easily able to peddle those out to the industry. And then by May of that year, they'd made enough money to pay back Eastman's creepy uncle and split a $200 profit. So, not a lot of money, but considering they made $1,800.
Yeah, but $200 each went way farther back then, too.
Well, that's true. No, they split $200, $100 each.
Yeah. Still.
Yeah.
Still.
So one of the things that's interesting is these guys are both comic book artists, and as Dave mentioned earlier, Mr. Miller. There are a lot of ties with the Ninja Turtles to Daredevil. And I didn't realize how many until I started doing all this research. So, Daredevil's mentor is a blind man named Stick. Splinter is very, very similar to Stick. His mannerisms, the way everything has some kind of a lesson to be learned from it. The Foot, the Foot Clan. In Daredevil, they're named the Hand. Who knew? Even the origin story of how we got Matt Murdock into Daredevil and 4 Turtles into the Ninja Turtles is very, very similar.
Yeah.
So,
hashtag radioactivity.
Yeah. So for the uninitiated here, Matt Murdock saves a guy. He's a kid. Matt Murdock's a kid. Saves a guy from getting hit with a radioactive canister. The radioactive material goes into his face, gets in his eyes, and it basically burns out his retinas. But it completely enhances all of his other senses. In the Ninja Turtles, excuse me,
the canister that got thrown at Murdock ends up in the sewer.
Exactly. In the original Turtles, the canister bounces off the kid's dome and smashes into the bowl of his 4 pet turtles he just had.
Mm-hmm.
Kid drops the bowl, everything falls down into the sewer, the turtles, the mutagen, everything. Later, a rat ends up finding them in the mutagen that was from TGRI and takes them under his wing. And then there's a little bit thrown into the cartoon that explains this more. But basically, because the kid was the last thing the turtles touched, the mutagen enhanced their DNA to turn into bipedal, humanoids. Yeah. And then because Splinter kind of touched the turtles...
Nowadays, it would be contact DNA from
the human
and the rat now.
Break it down to the ridiculous.
Ahead of its time, man.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's a lot of ties to Daredevil in this. So the one shot that these boys from New England came up with, it was fairly popular at this point. So they come to the conclusion that there's more to be had here. So they start work on a second issue, and then in January of 95, they complete the entire story, and after a little advertising, they quickly receive an order for 15,000 copies. Nice. As well as so definitely bumped up those numbers. Mm-hmm. They also got a reprint request for issue 1 of an additional 30,000 copies. And these are not exact numbers. It was like 31,800 or something.
Right, but we're not that clever. So
I'm spitballing.
You round up or you round down.
Basically. Yeah. So there's another reprint request for issue 1, totaling 40,000. Then a couple of months later, issue 3 prints around 135,000 copies.
It's a jump.
Yeah. No, you know what? I can't read my own notes.
Oh my God.
I suck. Issue 3 prints around 50,000 copies.
Still.
I skipped a line. The series peaked with issue 8. Which printed around 135,000 copies. There it is. So now the original issue, Ninja Turtles 1, cost about $1.50. Right now on eBay, they're going anywhere from $2,500 to $4,000, depending on condition. Mm-hmm. There was a CGC graded autographed copy that was graded at a 9.6, which sold for about $21,000.
God.
Yeah. Somebody had some money to spend that day.
Somebody was bored.
$10 says it was Nick Cage.
Probably.
Well,
it's more of a comic protector.
He's a sick guy.
He really is.
So at this point, TMNT Ninja Turtles, they decided to run under the Mirage Studios flag. A 75 regular series issue between 1984 and 1995, which I did the math, it works out to about an issue about a month and a half apart from each other. Between that time, there were a dozen or so one-shots, mini-series, and spin-offs. Some of those, there was a Donatello micro-series where Donatello was the main character.
Oh, wow.
Of all the Turtles, I don't know why they would pick Donatello, but apparently it was fairly successful. There was one called Turtle Soup, which was a bunch of short stories. Different artists would do their take on the Turtles in like a 1 or 2 page little story. Mm-hmm. There was a flash forward where the Turtles jumped forward in time. It doesn't really specify when in time, just that they jump forward in time. It could be 2 weeks for all I fucking know.
Right.
There was a Savage Dragon TMNT crossover.
Yeah. I remember that one.
Mm-hmm. And I think that ran for 4 issues. Mm-hmm. There was a Gen 13 crossover.
I didn't know that one.
Nor
I knew
did
the Savage Dragon one, but I didn't know the Gen 13 one.
Yeah, there was a Gen 13 crossover, a one-shot. There was an appearance in Sonic the Hedgehog number 10, and it was a very quick little blip. I don't even know why they bothered with it. Sonic was running around through some tunnels under Robotropolis. Lost, no idea where he's going. He zips past a random sewer grate, and then the next panel shows the turtles standing on the other side of that sewer grate, who agree that they are both clearly lost. And that was it. That was all they had to do with it.
Right on. Now, the Savage Dragon and the Gen 13 thing, was that kind of a precursor to the move? Because they moved to Image, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's coming up here.
Was that like a dry run for that, or?
I kind of feel like it might have.
You know what I mean? Like they might have said, if these do well, then you can come on. Mm-hmm. Then Jim and Todd and Rob are like, come on in.
Yeah, and I'll hit on that here in a second.
Okay, I didn't mean to throw you off.
No, you're good. I will hit on that here in just a second. TMNT magazine, there was a one-page comic that featured Garfield as a superhero. He had a trash can strapped to his back and a black mask. And then Archie Comics acquired the licensing rights to use the Turtles and printed 72 issues of TMNT Adventures between 1995 and 1998. Yeah, and it was it almost mirrored the cartoon.
Okay.
It was very cheesy, very hokey, very lighthearted versus the original Ninja Turtles.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, like you were mentioning with the move from Mirage to Image Comics, that happened in 1996. And again, I really couldn't find a whole lot on why. Other than Eastman and Laird still owned creative rights, but it was like their book could reach more people that way. Because Image was obviously a much bigger company than Mirage.
It was more distribution probably than anything else, I would guess.
But yeah, they gave over... they kept creative control, but every issue at Image was written by Gary Carlson and penciled by Frank Fosco. That happened in 96. There was a 23 printed issues and a miniseries, but it was abruptly canceled in 99. There was no last issue. It was just cut off the face of the earth. More on that here in a little bit. There was some weird shit that went down at Image.
Yeah.
Splinter became a bat. In issue number 5, he was turned into a bat by a guy named Dr. Wu. And apparently he slowly went batshit crazy and turned feral. Kept attacking the turtles, tried to kill them on a few occasions. Slowly lost his mind. And then issue 16, he was turned back into the Splinter. Donatello became a cyborg. He was shot. The turtles were fighting some cyborgs in New York, and he was shot, and he nearly died from both the shooting and being dropped out of a helicopter. So it was not Donnie's day.
It really was. He drew the short straw.
Yeah.
Wow.
So he was shot by a cyborg. His body was fused with one of the cyborgs permanently. They never undid this in the cartoon or in the comic. He kept his personality intact, but he was always fighting with that cyborg part of his mind. Leonardo was in a fight with a guy named King Komodo.
Did he change his name to Locutus of Borg?
He should have, because Resistance was futile.
It really was.
Nice drop there, by the way.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Leonardo was in a fight with a guy named King Komodo, and he had his hand completely bitten off. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just lobbed it right off.
Why not?
He tried a cybernetic replacement that Donnie created for him, but he just couldn't get used to it. He kept it for about 2 issues, I read. And then he switched to a steel cap with a retractable katana that was almost like a giant switchblade for his hand. And Raph actually became Shredder, sort of. So in one of the issues, he was blasted in the face by a cyborg, and he got really horribly disfigured. His face got all jacked up. To try and hide it, he wore one of Casey Jones' face mask, and then eventually he just switched to an eye patch. And there was a fight with the Foot Clan. Raph in the comic actually had some connections with them, and there were even a couple of the members that he considered friends. I use the word friends very loosely with finger quotes. Yeah. But, Raph was always the hard head of the group, always kind of went his own way. So, that kind of fits in with his personality almost. So the Foot Clan and the New York mob were having this big war, and the Foot Clan was losing. So Raph donned Shredder's armor. And I don't know where Shredder was at the time. They had defeated him. I've never read all these issues, so I'm going off of Cliff Notes, basically.
Right.
But Raph donned Shredder's armor to kind of psychologically terrorize the mob, and it worked. The Foot actually ended up winning the war. And because of this, Raph was actually given control of the New York faction of the Foot for a short time. Yeah. He was finally overturned by Lady Shredder. The Image comic series abruptly ended before her identity could actually be revealed. There's a couple of...
They were running out of ideas. Dear Jesus.
Basically. A lot of fans were kind of pissed off about the abrupt ending.
Yeah.
And it was selling well, so no one knew why it ended. There was never an official press release. The issues were selling out when they went to hit the stores.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was just kind of an up in arms, what's going on. So for a few years, IDW started publishing Turtle comics after Image stopped printing them. Due to contractual reasons that the contract that they had ended, IDW stopped printing the comics. IDW is actually not considered canon with either the original Mirage Studios or Image Studios, since neither Eastman or Laird had any kind of input or creative control with IDW. But to many fans' approval, I did read online, which, again, this jumps a little farther into our story than we like to travel past 1999. But Image has reacquired the licensing to the Turtles, and they're actually going to finish the story.
Okay.
So they're going to start with a 12-issue run and see how that goes and see how that sells.
And that's with Eastman and Laird?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes. They will have creative control again.
Good.
Yeah. So it's going to be official canon.
Are they going to go back to the old artwork? Like the old OG kind of dark vigilante kind of artwork?
Yeah. Yeah, like I was saying, this series is completely different from the Turtles that most of us associate with.
Right, which is the cartoon, which is coming
in
episode 2, so...
Yeah. Casey Jones would literally beat the living shit out of guys in the comic book. Beat them to a pulp.
Oh yeah. He was dark. And I don't know about you, but to me, like, if you're just kind of glancing at his hockey mask, which is like a one-off hockey mask anyway, doesn't it kind of look like the Punisher to you?
Yes, I've always thought that.
Like that. So yeah,
this Casey Jones fits that.
Mm-hmm. Very Frank Castle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the Turtles they cursed a lot in the comic. They would always yell damn and hell.
Yeah.
And that's actually where in the Ninja Turtle movie that came out, when Raph yells damn, that was kind of a throwback to the original Mirage comic where they would always curse. So I thought that was kind of cool.
Oh, yeah.
But the turtle, like Leonardo would legit cut people when they were fighting, bad guys. He would cut their arms off if he had to. Donatello would smash eyeballs out with his staff if he had to. Raph would just straight up stab people in the chest with his katanas. It was a very PG-13.
You mean his sai?
Yeah, my bad. Sorry, it's late. You knew what I meant.
It really is. Yeah, you'll forgive us. Forgive us, kids. It's like it's pushing 11 o'clock.
This is the latest my boys stayed up recording in a while. I'm used to this time, but I'm still tired.
Yeah, I'm because see, back home where I am, I'm an hour behind him.
Yeah.
And
well, and that's the funny thing too, because
and there was a time change.
So you lost an hour.
Oh, I lost
then
2.
You lost an hour.
Yeah, I lost 2.
Then you're going to go back home and gain that hour back.
I'm basically still down an hour. But yeah.
Yeah, you lost 2 hours in a matter of 48 hours.
Oh yeah,
that's rough, man.
My wife woke up. I woke up this morning thinking it's 3 o'clock in the morning. No, 7:30.
That's awesome.
No, it's not.
It's really not.
Yeah, tangent. Going back.
Yeah. But yeah, it was very edgy, very violent, very teenage to young adult themed. Mm-hmm. It was not anything for kids.
It was very dark, vigilante, sort of like The Dark Knight meets Sin City with turtles.
Yeah. Always, when it was with Mirage, always black and white.
Mm-hmm.
Image did finally introduce color. But the true fans are the original Mirage.
Are the black and white guys, yeah.
And I'm going to post, I found that picture, the original sketch they did.
It's on t-shirts, dude. He's the letter, the turtle is the letter A, because the shirt says Team Eastman. And
nice.
It shows the original turtle sketch that he did.
Oh, okay. I've never seen that shirt.
As the A in team.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I've seen a few of them.
Okay.
I'm sure you can find it on Amazon or eBay or something.
Right on.
But yeah.
So yeah, I'll throw that up. I got some cool turtle references I'm going to throw up over the next week on the Facebooks and the InstaWebs.
Yeah, I'll throw up a couple from my past too. Just because this was a really good. This was a good time.
Yeah. Turtles. Yeah, the comic book is not as well known, again, just because the more adult themed. I mean, it's a very, very popular comic. Don't let me downplay it in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But like we've mentioned, everybody associates the Ninja Turtles with, cowabunga, pizza loving, radical dudes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not the origin at all. So I really wanted this first part of this episode to be kind of hitting home with the origin and where the Turtles came from.
Yes, to kind of show that this was really gritty. And not your 20-minute cartoon that you would see, in syndication on the daily.
Yeah. So now next week we'll continue this.
Yes, we will.
We're going to delve into the cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to delve into the toys
and the video games.
The arcade games.
Mm-hmm.
We'll hit on the movies, the old movies from the 90s.
Yes. Yeah. Not that Michael Bay crap. Nah.
Makes my heart hurt thinking about those.
It's like, whose childhood can I rape today?
Transformers? Check that off the bucket list.
Take that one off the list.
If I find out he's doing a Thundercats movie, I'm going to murder the man myself.
Yes, we will hunt him down.
Mm-hmm.
Before that happens.
Yeah. So that's where we're going to cut off the info today, kids. Like we said, not going to take up quite the whole hour. Just wanted to give you a little teaser.
Was there anything else in your notes for the Dark Ages, or was it just?
No, that was really all I had.
Okay.
I guess I didn't ask. Did you have anything I missed?
I did not. Now, granted, I was a bit of a slacker this week. I had work, I had school, I had homework, I had tests, I had, husbandly duties to take care of.
How bold of you.
Hey, somebody's got to.
It's true.
And I enjoy it. I enjoy the work. So
good man.
I had meetings, so it was like, well, so I didn't get to delve into it as much, but I've got a couple days here and there. I will do my best to dig in and see, because I have my memories of like the cartoon era.
Mm-hmm.
And I do remember the video game very much, and I'll talk about that as we go on. but in part 2. But yeah, I didn't get too much other than just the cocktail napkin sketch and the fact that I couldn't remember that it was Mirage Comics because I suck. So
I'll allow it.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. So yeah, we appreciate you guys hanging out with us for this week. Letting us take you back a little bit through the nostalgia era. Maybe if you never read a Ninja Turtle comic, definitely go check one out. They're very cool, worth reading.
Definitely worth reading, and the artwork is on point.
Very
much on point. Like that. Yeah. Which I'll go ahead and kind of go down the rabbit hole real quick. I always thought that the video game for Nintendo, the OG Nintendo, even though it was in color, and even though the cutaways kind of looked more like the cartoon, I always felt like with the actual gameplay, felt a lot more like the comic book.
Oh, I will concur.
Completely went with the comic book.
Absolutely.
Just in terms of the build of the characters, the way the background looked. Now, granted, for 8 bits, you're going to get 8 bits worth, but it looked way grittier than, say, Mario or Mega Man or, played a lot like Ninja Gaiden, too, but that's... But
probably used the same engine.
Well, I think it was the same company. I think it was Capcom.
I think you're right. No, Konami.
No.
We'll check into this later next week.
Yeah. We'll get a clarification from
the tangent's just going to keep going and going.
Otherwise we're going to be here for another 3 weeks, and
basically,
I know my wife is tired.
Yeah.
So rather than going down to one host, which who knows, maybe some people want that. Yeah, we'll just wait.
So in case you're not already, go check us out on Instagram, Maximum Effort Podcast. We've got a webpage, themaximumeffortpodcast.com. Hit us up on Facebook. Just search for the Maximum Effort Podcast.
Yep.
We're also on Twitter at Effin Redux, EFFINGREDUX. And definitely, if you like what you listen to and you want to help support us, go check out our Patreon, patreon.com/The Maximum Effort Podcast.
That's right, kids. Help us out. Help us out. Tell your friends. Tell your mom. Tell your pastor. Why not, right? Hit them up.
All. Someone they might like something we talk about.
You never know.
Yeah.
So I guess that is the Maximum Effort Podcast for this week. I'm still Dave.
I'm definitely still Adam.
Yeah, he's going to keep that one for a while.
Holding on.
Yeah, Adam just gave you just a massive load of maximum effort.
Take it easy, everybody.
Good night.